And welcome into Football Happy Hour presented by Blitzlytics.com. As always, I'm your host, Rob, the little toon dude down there in the left corner there. Above me, Jack Bourgeois. To his left, your right, Cody Manning. And down below that, Roy Countryman. I'm going to come around the horn and say hi to you fellas. Start with you, Jack. How you doing, bud? I see my team took care of business this week against yours.
I don't want to talk about it.
That's funny. That's all I want to talk about. I'm restructuring this script as we start here. Quarter one, Rams. Quarter two, Rams. Quarter three, Rams, and so forth. Great week to hold that over your head, bud. Mayo, how you doing tonight, man?
Please do.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm on the winning column with you, and I'm surprised you're not decked out in Rams gear on your cartoon.
Yeah, I decided to give Jack just a little bit of break since I do screen share here.
Hold on. Are you wearing all that black because of the death of the Bucks and Tom Brady in prime time?
Ooh. Ouch. No,
All
it's
right.
to commemorate how awesome 2020's been.
Don't forget it.
I wear black every day to commemorate 2020.
He's slinging.
Roy, he said he's happy to be in the win column. The only one of us who doesn't know what it's like to take the L. How you doing this week?
Hey, winning, we don't even know her. So that's all I can say. As much as talk as Jack was saying, as my Steelers weren't even, I guess, not even the second best team in the NFL. I guess maybe they're in the running now for fourth best. I don't know. We'll have to see here. We're the only one still without the L in the column.
Yeah, a bunch of wins piling up there for black and yellow. So we'll do it like we do every week, guys. We're going to give you 4 quarters of topics, then even hit you with an overtime because nothing better than spending a few minutes with your buds, especially heading into Thanksgiving weekend. So we've got a special topic there at the end for you, which as chubby people, I warn you now, me and Roy are going to be way better than Jack and Cody at. So,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to jump here.
Stretchy pants.
Yeah, wear your stretchy pants. All right, let's jump into quarter number 1 where we're going to give you a topic we've run back, 3 or 4 times it feels in the last 4 or 5 weeks. We like it. 3 and out here. Some stuff you learned from this week. And there was some big messages sent out. And, Jack, I'll start with you. What do you got here, man, for the first thing you learned this week?
Since we're on the topic, I might as well stick to it. The Bucks in Tampa Bay, my Bucks and TB12, they ain't ready. They weren't ready for last night. I don't think they're ready for this year. They are too up and down. Obviously, they can't play at night, so I don't know how they're going to win a Super Bowl. It was bad. There is potential to actually implode and possibly even miss the playoffs if they don't show up to a few more games because they're likely going to lose this weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sure they'll make it a game. I'm sure they'll rebound well. But it's Patty Mahomes. I don't see them winning. And then if they lose one more game, they could possibly be out of the playoffs. I mean, there's a possibility. There's a chance that they miss the playoffs. Likely won't happen. I don't think it could. But this could get bad if it starts rolling downhill fast. And so I'm very, very disappointed. But, again, what I was predicating it on, what I was arguing with Roy and everybody else with is that, in terms of talent, this is arguably the most talented team in the league. And if they could put it together, the peak of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, is arguably, 1A, 1B best team in the league with Patty being the default to beat the Buccaneers, I think, every chance or every time. But I'm disappointed. They're just not in sync, and it's just not going to happen this year.
No, they've been exposed a couple times. It's really weird the differential you get in that team between first and second half. Whether it's a good first half followed by a stinker second or a reverse, especially like last week with Carolina. This week they had success with the long ball a little bit in the first half and then nothing in the second. So it's crazy to watch that team flip flop, man. It's really crazy. So Mayo, let's move on to you and something you learned this week.
Oh, I got to talk about my team. Defensive coordinator of the Colts, Matt Eberflus, is the king of halftime adjustments. He's done it multiple times, but for him to come out in the second half and completely shut down Aaron Rodgers until that stupid little last drive by him to tie it up, but he completely shut them out. Well, they had 2 3-and-outs. They had the multiple turnovers. They had that big 4th-and-1 stop in the fourth quarter, and he's making himself a potential head coach in this offseason. And he has a defense playing fast. They're taking opportunities to get the turnovers. And I was just so impressed, like, because like Aaron Rodgers was just having his way in the first half, and just like we've seen like earlier this year with the Browns, they came out and completely shut down the offense, which allowed the Colts offense to get them back into the game. So I'm just super impressed with how he's able to make the halftime adjustments and how he can get young guys to play way faster than I thought they would. There's a guy I'm gonna talk about later, and I think quarter number 3 or 4 when we do the prospect players, encyclopedia players of the week. But man, yeah, I'm just super impressed with his ability to coach the defense.
I guess I'll let it slide that you said he's the king of halftime adjustments with my dude Sean McVay and his staff just chilling too. So I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it, though. I'll be a gracious host. Roy, I'm going to come to you for the first thing you learned here. And if you start with that top one, then I know you've been waiting to say these words.
I have to throw it out there. P.J. Walker, 20-0, led the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, he threw 2 interceptions, but he is making the XFL look like a better route for some of these under-the-radar players. He looked like a stud for the Houston Roughnecks. Now he's looking like quite a confident player in the NFL, starting a game here in Teddy Bridgewater's part. He's still only 25 years old. He's got the athleticism to scramble around out there and make some deep throws. He's got the accuracy. He's got everything you look for in a quarterback. Not saying he's their future, but you know, this is definitely checking a box off in this summer league we're seeing come back in 2022. So PJ Walker, keep up the good work for as long as you get that opportunity. I was glad to see you beat out Will Greer, David Connor's favorite West Virginia Mountaineer quarterback. For the start there.
No more XFL in his future. He sealed the deal there. He's a legit NFL quarterback. I feel a lot about him. Like you said, he's not the guy, but he feels like a Tyrod guy who, like, you just want him on your team. You know, if you need him, he'll go out there and get you a few dubs, and you never be out of the game. So, definitely a good week for PJ Walker. Jack, I'll come back to you here. We don't have to talk any more Bucks for now if you don't want to. So, what else did you learn this week?
Oh, thank God. I do want to chime in though on this whole PJ Walker thing. I think the XFL might have been the biggest beneficiary from that performance in that game. Like, tell me that the XFL stock does not rise like tenfold with that performance. A XFL quarterback came out, stepped in on a week's notice and won a game for an NFL team. So you're saying there's talent out there. So you're saying there's a need for this league. So you're saying The Rock and Danny Garcia are now running it, and The Rock came from this pedigree of trying to scrape and scratch and claw his way into the league. So this gives me a ton of excitement. I am very, very excited for PJ Walker's NFL career. Although, he's probably not going to see an NFL start again or anytime soon at the very least. I was very, very excited. I mean, I think earlier today, knowing that he had 2 interceptions, I called it a flawless performance. Because for someone in his shoes, that is about as good of a performance as you could ask PJ Walker to put in. There's a lot of things I could discuss. Saints defense being one of the most underrated in the NFL. They have came out to ball, and with the addition of him and with that defense and how it is complemented by Taysom Hill's ability to protect the ball, ability to run the ball, and play kind of a small ball approach, I think the Saints are going to kind of they should breeze their way into the playoffs, into that 1 seed, and I don't think they're going to have much competition for it. And it hurts because I really thought that was going to be the Bucks.
See, I'll be contentious here, and I think everyone's too early to jump on this. They're going to be fine bandwagon. It's the Falcons. You hung up 20 points on a team that gives up 35 regularly. That expected Jameis Winston to get the start until 2 days beforehand. I think everything broke their way, and I'll give you this: the defense is underrated. No shout there. That's 100%. But I think people are too early to jump this bandwagon and say they're going to be fine because of this performance from Taysom Hill. I didn't really like what I saw. I just saw him play against a defense that's really, frankly, crap. But you're right. The defense is what's going to carry him. So
I guess also though too, I'm kind of grading on a curve and expecting him to not play very well. Like, he played better than Lamar Jackson as a quarterback in terms of making throws, in terms of timing, in terms of, being able to read a defense. I mean, Sean Payton was right. Like, he's got a Taysom Hill, and Taysom Hill is everything he said he would be. And I thought, I was looking for the day where we could kind of like laugh at Sean Payton's face, and that's just not going to happen. Taysom Hill is a better quarterback than we expected him to be. He's a better thrower of the football than I expected him to be. With that and the addition of his ability to run, it plays very well. They can win games like that.
Well, they're absolutely going to win games. Here's the deal.
If that isn't the Atlanta Falcons, do they win? Or if that's a top team, probably not that game. But it showed that they've got something to build off of. And when Breeze gets back, or when Winston takes over, which I think still is in the realm of possibility, this still is going to be a team to beat, and it kills me.
They've got a soft end schedule, man. Broncos, Falcons again, Eagles, Chiefs is a matchup there. Then the Vikings and Panthers. So I mean, they're all winnable games. I get that for sure, but I don't know, man. I'm a Twitter guy. I got tired of seeing Taysom Hill's name this week. Yeah, great. You got to play a quarterback and tight end. You're so smart.
Hey,
I mean, no.
I still lost the game, by the way.
Green. If you're gonna crown him, crown him.
Crown the guy.
If you're like me and just not a Twitter guy, then you don't have to hear about it.
Oh God, I heard so much about it. Mayo, let's come to you for something else you learned this week.
Have the Ravens players lost the respect for their coaches? I mean, we over the last few months, or not a few months, but last month, we have heard multiple players either go on social media or go on talking shows and talk about, teams are calling out our plays. We're getting bland. Marquise Brown talking about feed your soldiers, and he can't even get open to get a catch, because Lamar can't push the ball down the field like that. That's another thing we could get on is don't draft for wide receivers that don't fit your players. But when the Titans were in the middle of the Ravens logo on midfield, like that's a no-go. Like that's why Jim Harbaugh was out there yelling and getting in their faces. But none of his players came out and defended him.
Right, that's true. Remember what it looked like when T.O. ran to the star. That's what should have happened. That did not happen.
Coming from an AFC North person, Cody, he is one of the most cockiest coaches in this entire league. And I'm telling you, that team is going to implode if Lamar Jackson can't get back on track here. They have a lot of injury. Calais Campbell's going to probably be out this week. If the Steelers beat them this week, which I think, with the loss of J.K. Dobbins and Ingram and Brandon Williams, which is a lot of people don't really know, that's one of their big hammers inside at nose tackle. Jack was talking about the Buccaneers maybe missing the playoffs. They're in third place in the AFC North. And the thing to me that talked about the disrespect and maybe not even of their players, look at what he did to Vrabel at the end of the game. What kind of toll are you that you won't even shake a coach's hand or acknowledge him and blow him off like that? That, to me, your professionalism is way below the line. And he's done it quite a few many times.
Steelers talking right there.
Well,
at the end. He blew him off because Vrabel's players were on the midfield, and he found that as disrespectful, so he didn't want to talk to him at the end. Then you saw they all got in each other's face at the beginning.
Dude,
plus, everybody knows Vrabel will get him with 1-2 punches, and he's down for the count, so he doesn't want to get too
You don't want them hams. He don't want them hams. I'm with you. I think
you guys remember walking behind Vrabel last year at the Senior Bowl? I wouldn't want to fight that guy. I don't know if you guys caught that segment on Pat McAfee talking about that with Ian Rappaport, but that's the one coach you do not want to fight.
Yeah, I don't want no parts. Let's move on to you, Countryman. What's something else you learned?
Yeah, for me, it's the game of the Seahawks in Arizona. I will say the addition of Carlos Dunlap does seem to buoy a little bit of the distaste I have for their defense. It seemed to generate a little bit more pass rush. He did get 2 sacks in that game. He's somebody that was a thorn in the Steelers' side for a number of years, especially batted passes. And that type of experience added on that line is going to make not only the pressure go up, but also the cornerback play in the secondary be a little bit better because of the pressure he's going to be able to generate up front. Plus, they're getting healthy with some of their guys coming back as well. They're also giving Alton Robinson some more snaps from Syracuse. Their younger player, Rasheem Green, is back. At one point, they were having Steven Sullivan, a tight end, into a defensive end. we're starting to see some actual NFL defensive pass rushers caliber players here. So
Still
not
don't
saying they're-
scare me as a
not
Rams
saying
fan.
they're world beaters.
Yeah, no, I'm
But-
still not scared at all. Again, Dunlap had a good game. If he was that much of a, let's be honest, if he was going to take it over and be that guy, he'd still be in Cincinnati. Let's move on back to you, Jack. Here we're going to get through these last three here, and I see you have a little MVP topic.
Yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes. It's been Patrick Mahomes. It has been Patrick Mahomes since day one. It will be Patrick Mahomes at the end of it, and it's no questions asked. His touchdown to turnover ratio is outstanding. I wish I had the stats up right now for the MVP metric, but I mean it's
What's
not
he on?
even
He's like on
close.
pace for like 47 and 1 or 2, right? Like it's his pace is insane right now.
Yeah, what he's doing right now is outstanding. 67.9% completion percentage, 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, 3,000 yards. I mean, if you take out the games against the Raiders, which I don't know if it's just, again, like the divisional matchup, you can kind of like, in terms of like how a team plays their division, you can always kind of cancel that out. I mean, obviously you want your team to win against their division. That's kind of the telltale sign on how good they are. But it's how they play teams outside their division. So I'm not going to the 2 games against the Raiders have been really tight, close games. Outside of that, he hasn't even turned the ball over. Like he doesn't even have a fumble lost. Like it's been that good. Biggest thing is not turning the ball over. And that's exactly what he's doing. And with a minute left, Derek Carr drives down and scores and looks like an amazing quarterback. And then it's like, oh shit, you left him too much time. Like we had very few quarterbacks in the NFL have we ever done that with. Like Kurt Warner's one of them. I think Brady's one of them, and I think Patty's another. Like with 30 seconds left, a minute left, and like a timeout, like that's all they need. Like it's game over. Like you can just basically guarantee they're gonna win if they have the ball last in their hands, and that's what happened.
Yeah, Cody's upset you didn't involve a certain Manning in that conversation there. But and by the
Manning never
way,
had, like, the
since we're
full-on
gonna
touch
run
sheet.
long anyway
Oh,
in
that's
this
why he has like,
quarter,
the most comebacks in NFL history.
since we're gonna
I was
run
about to say,
long
but,
anyway,
like in terms of like that, he just didn't have that aura that like I hate to call it the Tebow, but the Tebow, like it guaranteed gonna happen.
Okay.
I saw the breakdown today, Jack, and I heard the pause moment because somebody defended Derek Carr, and you wanted to make sure we heard it. I heard
He
it.
wanted to shed a
I
tear.
heard it. I heard it.
So good.
So
So good. Somebody to be on my side. Sorry,
It's-
you guys don't have to admit it. You're just gonna
it's all right, man. It's
keep it yourself. That's fine. You don't. You don't have to admit
it's an
it.
American right to be wrong. So, Cody, I'm
I was
gonna
wrong.
move
I
on
mean,
to
shit,
you.
I'm
man.
wrong on a weekly basis apparently now.
Did Rob just die?
Yeah, I'm back now. I
Okay,
was
woo.
coughing up a lung right there. Don't smoke, kids. That's the message today. So Mayo, we're gonna tear through your and Roy's last topic before we move on here.
Yeah, we could probably just make our statements with me and Roy's topics that I see what we got. But yeah, Nick Chubb's the last real NFL running back. I mean, your classic back. That stiff arm that he made this weekend was just so fun. And anytime I see him pulling behind Wyatt Teller this year, I get a smile on my face and just the way he runs. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, he is definitely a beast. Roy, your last topic here you learned about.
Yeah, to me, after having to sit through Bill O'Brien years, Deshaun Watson is a thoroughbred. But man, that guy needs some help. He did beat the Patriots this week, but we need to get him some O-line help, some defense. I hate to see a quality quarterback like that. It's going to have to, his big boom years are going to be wasted because of how poor that team is constructed and the amount of draft capital it isn't there.
I would
So-
love to see them hire some creativity at the coaching staff. Don't just be like, oh, it's Deshaun. If it doesn't work out, then he'll run it. Like, be creative to start with. Don't just be like, when it breaks down, we're good. Like, that's insane.
Imagine Joe Brady with that offense.
It's just he needs a lot of help, and it's not just players. So let's move then into quarter two. And again, we don't do a lot of news here because the injuries will be discussed on other programs and everything. But man, Joey B into his stellar rookie season, just a hard to watch injury that we found out later was actually worse than initially thought. So let's talk a little bit about how long we think he's going to be out. And I'll preface this with a statement from my favorite name, Booger McFarland here, on Sunday Night Football halftime show, suggested that he sit him, all next year to make sure he's healthy. So let's start that. And Cody, I'll come to you first. What say you about that thought?
I mean, I understand it because, like, if this offensive line looks like it does this year, there's no way you want to rush him out next year, even if it's for the final 4 games. But we know what type of competitor Joe Burrow is. We've seen him how many times get licked this year, and we thought those hits would take him out. Shoot, that hit that Chase Young laid on him, you thought that could have knocked him out earlier in the game. He got right back up. So, I mean, they say it's like a 9 to 12 month recovery. So even if it's max, you're looking at 12 months Thanksgiving time next year. Now, I think he would maybe want to at least get a couple games underneath his belt, to shake off the rust and gain some confidence into his 3rd season. If he's 100% healthy, but man, unless that line is like legit fixed, like I'd be like, listen, we have to invest into your offensive line this offseason. And then next offseason, just get 100% healthy, and we'll see what we have in you in your year 3. That's what I would personally do.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, you're talking, a matter of a handful of games on a team that without him, let's be realistic, there's no shot at the playoffs on that team without him. So you're rushing him back to do what? Affect your draft pick? I hate to say I agree with Booger because I think half the stuff he says is asinine, but I think he's got a point here, Roy. I'm probably looking at sitting him the entire year.
Yeah, I'm in a difference of opinion here, guys. And if you look at the structural integrity of his knee, this injury is actually very similar to Carson Palmer's in the playoff type injury that Kimo von Oelhoffen did to Palmer. It injured the PCL, ACL, and also some other meniscus type stuff in the structure. So knowing the type of competitor he is, if you can have a guy like Adrian Peterson come back in his time frame, we all know he's a cyborg. But Peterson gets hit on every single down. Burrow, I think he'll be back by week 2 to 3 in the regular season. And the reason why I say that, I get what Booger McFarland, although every time I hear Booger McFarland, makes me think I got to check the side of my chair like there's a crusty booger from one of my boys. So, but I gotta really say this. Bengals are going to have a top 3 pick this year. Who are they going to probably take? Justin Fields and Lawrence are going to be there. Who's the number 1 prospect that's laying there right for the pick?
Sewell, right? It's going to be Sewell.
Penei Sewell. So right there, you're switching out, say you put him at right tackle, you're switching out the human turnstile Bobby Hart for now Penei Sewell and Jonah Williams. Trey Hopkins isn't that bad of a center. The guards are starting to pick up their play. If not, you go out and get a guy, which I got to give Cincinnati a little credit. This past year, they spent money in free agency. So maybe you go out and get a guy from New England, Joe Thuney, shore up the interior here. There's a pathway here to build a line in a short amount of time with where they're still picking. But I get what Booger's saying, but knowing Joe Burrow, the type of competitor he is, he's going to be back before that time frame already says. I'm thinking he's going to be back in the first quarter of next season.
I mean, I get the competitor argument, and the kid's obviously a warrior, but at some point you've got to not Bengals up a situation, and if you rush him out there and heaven forbid, something happens, now we're right back to the same old Bengals. Jack, what do you think, man? Because, again, it's going to be who do you listen to at that point? You know what I mean? Because, obviously, he's going to want to come back as early as possible.
I side with Roy on this one. There's no way he's sitting next year. There's no way he's trying to sit next year. And I'm not going to repeat everything that Roy just said because that was exactly what I was getting ready to say. There is a plethora of offensive line talent in this next year's draft class. They have $45 million in draft capital as of right now. I'm sure they can quickly move things around and add that. They're paying Trey Waynes way too much money. They gave him quite a bit this year. They can make some stuff move and open up quite a bit of cap space. But if they just shore up the offensive line, then what's the problem? I mean, I wouldn't want to put him behind that offensive line again. I don't think they should have even put him behind that offensive line this year. It was that bad. And I think that has more to do with
if I'm Joe Burrow, I wouldn't want to play for the Cincinnati Bengals, and that's why I am then going to transition on over and say this is exactly why Trevor Lawrence shouldn't play for the Jets. Like, if there is not a team around you and you're not going to have success, now I know they have a few guys. They have at least a tackle that they drafted this year for the Jets, but that offensive line is just as bad as Cincy's, damn near. And so I would be looking, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to look at this as a learning lesson, and I'm going to deny, as much as I hated the move from Eli, I now would deny ever wanting to go to the Jets and refusing. I would stay in school if I have to, instead of risking an entire year's worth of football in injury playing for a bad team and a bad offensive line. I mean, we've seen it. Joe Burrow was David Carr back there. Like, he had no chance to survive this season, and this is what they get. It's sad, but it's true. Like, there's no way he was going to stay healthy if you watch those games and you see how often he was taking those shots.
Yeah, I mean, he spent a lot of time getting whacked, as Cody mentioned. Go ahead, Roy.
Yeah, for me too, Rob, I'm looking big picture here. Okay. To me, as an AFC North connoisseur here, being a Steeler fan, the Bengals are the one team I'm fearing most of all in the next 5 years. You're looking at these teams. Baker Mayfield, you guys know my opinion of him. I'm still not sold on Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson, still not sold on him. Yeah, he won an MVP, but as a thrower, I'm not so sure Taysom Hill isn't better. The Ravens roster's getting older. The Bengals have flipped the script. They have a T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jonah Williams. If they get Penei Sewell, Joe Mixon, you have a lot of younger guys on that defense that are coming through. Jesse Bates, and even if they add a couple pieces there in the first, in the second, third rounds, this team can flip the script a la the Cardinals very quickly. And as a pure passer, if Joe Burrow can come back and be 80% of what he is, they're going to be contending in this division really soon, especially when you think about, Big Ben might only have 2 years left after this season, if that. The Steelers were known for only catching a franchise quarterback every 30 years or so. So we're going to probably have that law of Mark Malone and Bubby Bristers. But they're on the right track here, fellas. And that's the one team I'm fearing more than a Cleveland or a Baltimore. Cleveland would be the one other team in contention with them. It's just the pure weaponry of the Cincinnati Bengals, because I'm not sure Beckham's going to be there next year for the Browns going forward.
I'm not sure Beckham's there or the Browns what they'll be going forward, but I think still next year you're talking the Bengals are not really eyeing it. That's my thing, though, is sure, again, you're going to be better next year because I think Burrow's a real deal. You know what I mean? Like, he's real deal Holyfield, man. He's going to come through. But my problem is you rush him out there and you let him get smacked up again, and that's RG3, who looked fucking amazing. And then because you couldn't wait a few more weeks and give up on this season, it cost him his career and your entire building process. So, like, I get it, but again, it's so very Bengals to rush him back. It would actually be a breath of fresh air for me, for the Bengals to say, you know what, no, we're going to do what's best for the organization for once and not 2 or 3 games worth of ticket sales. So again, it's real hard to say, but knowing he's going to be out for that extended period of time anyway, what do we think the plan is for them moving forward? We just roll with what we got here, or are we looking to make some moves going into next season, knowing he's not going to start the year? Or do you think if they make a move in the offseason for a quarterback, that it's indicative of how long they're expecting him to be out? And Roy, I'll start with you.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at a guy, if I can get him, it would be perfect in this situation. Also in a mentor type of thing. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he already has experience with younger quarterbacks below him. He's a great presence in an offense. He knows his role. Look what he did with Tua down there. Being able to take a step back, still be a good teammate, support his player. That be a guy that, you're saying you don't want to rush Joe Burrow back. Maybe you say the first 6 weeks of the season, you put him on the PUP list and say you're not coming back to at least mid-season. You can still be competitive with a Ryan Fitzpatrick type player there, and him still know when this guy is healthy, you are going to get pulled, and you're still going to be in the opportune position to where maybe you're still competing for a wild card or maybe even the division at that point, not knowing who they might add over the offseason.
Plus, it adds another notch to the Fitzpatrick bedpost to play for every team in the league before it's over, guys.
I think he played for the Bengals at one point.
Was he a Bengal already?
Yeah.
So it's
He's
hard
already-
to keep up with. The guy's been on 14 teams. Like, it's insane, right? I love the guy, by the way, though. Started with the Rams, I'm a big fan of him for that. But I mean, that seems like a feasible action, right? It's not like you're going to go break the bank for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he does help him out in the long run because Fitzy's got a big old football brain on his head too. So I like that move, Jack. What do you think? Is that the move? You just roll with what you got, or is there somebody else you have in mind?
Oh, I'm sure they're going to want to at least upgrade if he's going to be out. You make that move at the beginning of free agency and you try to go grab a quarterback, or mid free agency. Obviously, like, you're not going to open up and break the bank for a quarterback, but there's going to be quite a few journeymen out there. There's going to be a Jameis Winston out there, probably going to be a Fitz. I'm sure Fitz would love the, knowing that he's at least going to get to start 6 weeks, or like a guaranteed amount of games where he gets the playing time, because I doubt he gets that anywhere else. He's going to be a camp arm to a QB competition at best for any of these other teams. But I do see someone like a Jameis or a Fitz, or, I mean, we have Mariota could possibly be out there. Like, there's quite a few guys.
Foles, Trubisky, they're probably both going to be available.
Cam
Newton could be available.
Could be available. I mean, there's quite a few guys that they could be out there looking for, that would be happy to get 6 games in.
Tyrod Taylor would be I would go him and Fitzpatrick 1A 1B again, because of the fact that they'll come in and play whenever. It doesn't matter the whole we took out Fitzy for Tua and let's put Fitz back in. He comes in, he just plays. Like, that's kind of what you need up there, knowing that Burrow's he's already shown you he's the dude. So get a guy who can win some games that also helps out other places.
Both those guys fit that offense too with their mobility. That's the one underrated part with Burrow, that you got to really be able to trust that knee, because he sold out and run on a lot of plays, and that movement inside the pocket that was kind of underrated. A lot of people didn't see him; they thought he was a statue back there. That guy could run. He was an underrated athlete, and both those guys, you wouldn't have to change a lot in your offense to be able to pull Burrow back in, say maybe week 7. And like you said, Robert, great professionals. They have some starts under their belt. I think the team would be able to respect that as well, knowing that they're still not, mailing in the season with some of these veteran players that they're getting there.
Yeah, for sure.
Quick, do you think this changes his approach of being as mobile as he is? I mean, he got hit in the pocket.
No, that's what I was going to say. There's no way, because he got whacked on just a freak play. Like, if it was any other angle, he's probably playing next week, right? Like, it was just, it's like when you're, Roy's country with me, when you drop a glass on the kitchen floor, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't break, but if it hits that one spot, boom, you got a mess.
Blows apart.
I think that's what happened this week, is he just got hit right spot with the right angle in his leg, and it just destroyed it. But again, like you said, he was in the pocket, so it's not like he's going to fear.
This isn't a RG3 type move, where he's scrambling out of the pocket more than maybe he's a pure pocket passer. To me, it's going to be in his first 2 or 3 games. You're going to see him more reserved, because we all know he's going to be wearing a brace probably that first season. We all know RG3, when he first came back from that, before he re-injured it, that he wasn't trusting it. I think you're going to see him maybe be more reserved, but then by that following season, where Booger was kind of saying, hold him out the entire season. Well, you don't get better by not playing. That's the one thing, with Burrow. He was a late riser throughout the process. He played the last 2 years with LSU. Ohio State, he didn't get a lot of snaps. So, in the grand scheme of development, you want him out in the field getting his reps. It's just you don't want to force feed it to him. And having one of them guys would be that insulative product of saying, we're going to compete. We have a chance with our team around us. We have confidence in it. But at the same time, we are going to have that big picture approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And good night, Silas. I see you guys in the chat. So, Cody, I'm going to let you finish this up here, man. What do we do? What do the Bengals do? Obviously, he's going to be out for quite a while, so you have to have some sort of
plan. I already said it, man. They just got to fix the offensive line. Like, that's all they need to worry about. Like, coming from a Colts fan, fix the offensive line. Otherwise, he's going to retire in 9 years.
That's true, man. That's true. You got to protect the guys. So here's what we're going to do, guys. That's going to be the end of the quarter. So real quick, I'm going to throw it to a commercial. Let my guys get a quick sip, and we will be right back with you. For over 100 years, the story has been written, ever changing and growing with each new chapter. The soul remains, though the characters change. Bigger, faster, stronger, smarter.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
So too grows our fandom. Start miles ahead. The 2020 Prospect Encyclopedia. September. Available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Blitzalytics.com. And welcome back to Football Happy Hour. Roy got to catch his breath there. We're going to give the kiddos night-night lovins. So night-night, boys. Let's get...
He did break a sweat.
He did, bro. He hit that 40-yard dash in 4 minutes time.
Yep. They dangled the carrot and I ran. Except it was a cheeseburger.
Oh, hey, man, that's the Andy Reid. Let's move into quarter number 3, where we are past the halfway point of the season. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming NFL draft, particularly the order. I'll run through the order as it sits right now. New York Jets at 0-10, number 1. Jacksonville 1-9 at 2. Cincinnati 2-7-1 at 3. The Dallas Cowboys 3-7 at 4. The Washington Football Team 3-7 5. The Los Angeles Chargers with the same record at 6. So are the Giants at 7. Atlanta at 8. Houston at 9. And Carolina is the 10 seed at 4-7. Is that right? As it sits. I don't know why Miami's there. They're good.
That's me. Miami's pick because
because gotcha. That makes total sense. How about having a good year with a top 10 pick sitting there looking you in the face, right, guys? So let's talk a little bit about, first off, a lot of these teams are going to be these teams picking in the air, right? Like the Jets, Jags, Bengals with the Burrow news, Dallas, Washington, whoever finishes the bottom of that division. Those are all pretty bad teams. The Giants have snuck in some wins. They've got an okay defense. Chargers are better, I think, than the 3-7 record. So let me start there. The Chargers at 6 feel like the most likely team to play themselves out of this position. What do you think about that, Jack?
I could see that. I think out of the entire top 10 teams, I would say between them and Houston and the Giants, I think the Giants are going to be the team that projects themselves out. Whoever wins the East is going to be a terrible team that has a bad pick. But the Chargers have been in every game. I mean, they've literally been in a shootout. Herbert has kept them in it. I mean, they have not got whooped yet with Burrow at the helm. So I could see it, but I mean, I don't know. This team just isn't really there. It sucks because they have a ton of talent. But I think just Herbert's young. Like, Herbert can put up numbers, but Herbert can't finish out a game yet. And it's if that's all I have to nitpick about Herbert right now, being a rookie and not being able to like put a complete game together, like I'm still extremely impressed by him. So I would expect them to win some more games. They're also in a tough division. A lot of the divisional games are stacked towards the end of the season. They're going to probably be a top 10 team for better or worse. I think it's the Giants that are going to be the team that gets out of that top.
I could see
10
both.
draft.
I got 2 words for you for the Chargers. Austin Eckler. When he
Very
gets
true.
back healthy, I think he's the difference maker in a couple of those games, and they're probably staring 5-5 in the face right now instead. I think Austin Eckler's a big piece. I think the Chargers play out. I think the Giants play themselves out just by winning the division. I'm with what Cody said. After watching them, they seem like I think Washington may have a slightly better defense, but the offense in Washington is tragic, just straight tragic. Whereas at least you have some pieces with the Giants. I think that they have that division sewn up. So I think both 6 and 7 do change. Cody, I'm going to ask you, they're not on the list here, but do you have a gut feeling if those 2 teams do play out, what other 2 teams could be in the mix up here that maybe have outplayed their talent thus far this year?
You're saying like would fall in the
Like
top
who would
10?
then fall back into the top 10?
Yeah,
assuming
I'm already looking at Detroit. I think they're that piss poor of an effort against Carolina. Sorry for my language to Roy and his children. I forgot this is a family show. But yeah, Detroit, man, I think they're about to implode, and like they're missing so much talent on that offense. And then this week, on Thanksgiving, the first game, they are facing off against Houston, and I think Houston's going to beat them. And I think Houston's going to keep on making that Miami Dolphins pick a little bit worse than they originally was thinking about a month ago. And right there, you're already going to see a swap where Detroit would go in the top 10, and that pick would fall down. And then, like you said, I think the Giants can win some games, the Chargers. Maybe even Atlanta sneaks in a game or 2 to fall out because they just have enough talent on the offense.
Right.
But,
Same with Carolina. CMC comes back, wins a couple games on his own. You're not in the top 10.
I don't think Carolina is going to be. I think they're going to be picking higher. I don't know. I hate how you say it, if it's higher or lower. Whenever I think higher, I think closer to the 1 pick, but that's technically not correct.
Right.
You want to pick closer to 20 because once you get past like around 20, you're a playoff team. So, but Rob, for me, I'll just go ahead and kick it off here. There's 2 teams, by default, Giants dropping in, and I'm with you guys. I think they're the best. I don't want to say it.
What a stretch of the word best. Yeah.
They're
What's
the biggest turd stuck
worst
on
team.
your shoe. Biggest turd stuck on your shoe that you got to wipe off. So, but the Giants are going to be in that wild card, NFC East. Philadelphia by that point will be in the top 10 with their 3-6-1. So they'd already be included in there, and that's going to be a mess if they wind up missing as bad as what it's looking like the way they're trending. Don't be surprised you don't see Peterson out there in Philly. They just look like they're stagnant at this point. And the other one right now is the number 16 team, the Chicago Bears. After starting off, I was the one beating the drum more than anything at 5-0. Yeek. They got ugly quick. That's what you get for depending on Trubisky and Foles. Don't be surprised they slide into the top 10 here before the end of the season and are one of the ones that with a new front office and a new coach, because I believe Nagy ain't going to be there, that they'll be looking in that quarterback hunt.
Absolutely. Again, I'm with you. The Bears are terrible. I'm sorry. That's a team probably looking for a new coach. I think I agree with you with Philly and Peterson as well. Since I got 3 scouts, I'm going to abuse that, right? So we talked about the gift that would be Sewell falling to Cincinnati at number 3 and how that's just kismet and a match made in heaven. Let's pair up some guys here, though. Jets, Jacksonville, both fighting for a quarterback, we think here?
100%.
100%, even though I think, to me, the Jets need to trade back and load up.
I could actually see that one, yeah, for sure. They're terrible all the way around.
Sam Darnold still has talent there. Like, they've never, as much as I disliked and was completely against Sam Darnold, this hasn't been Sam Darnold's fault, and he's actually shown signs of being a competent quarterback. But when you play behind one of these offensive lines and a team that's never had anything but a C, like at best a C+, B- wide receiver to throw to, and none of them have ever even been able to stay healthy. Neither is Sam Darnold, for Christ's sake. Like, give him weapons, give him tools, give him an offense, give him an offensive-minded coach that isn't isn't Adam Gase. Like, I'm trying. Sorry, family show. Adam Gase.
My thing is go ahead, Roy.
I'm just going to keep stirring the pot like I threw it out there the other week. The Jets are going to flip with number 4 there, Dallas.
Yep,
they can
that's
get
exactly
one of the 4
what I
best
was saying.
players. They go get Trevor Lawrence. Jerry Jones is printing money at this point and smiling every day of the week.
Do the Jets then accept Dak Prescott as a trade?
No. Jerry Jones then flips out.
They flip him. Yep.
They flip Dak to recoup what it's going to cost to move up to number 1.
They franchise and then trade him.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, then let's get crazy with it. Then who is trading for Dak Prescott if we're in this scenario?
You guys are crazy if you even think Dallas is still going to be there at that spot. I tried telling you guys. Look at their schedule. Washington, Baltimore, the Bengals, the Niners, the Eagles, the Giants.
The
Cowboys might be
defense has
winning.
gotten their shit together. Sorry.
The
Defense has gotten their stuff
Cowboys
together.
might be. They might win the division.
If they're anywhere in the top 10, they'll come up.
We argued about it, and now we're all flip flopping. Last week I was like, maybe Cody's
they
on
may
to
not be at
something,
4.
maybe he's right, and then it's like
I don't
Dallas
care if they're even in the
their
top.
stuff together.
If they're in the top 10,
I'm with you.
still
Top
possible.
10, they find a way to make it happen.
Because
he
if
doesn't
they can
like
trade a
Dak
1
for
this
whatever
year
reason.
and a 1 next year, Joe Douglas will take that to be able to build his type of team. You'd be stupid not to, and Jerry would be stupid not to be that aggressive. Get a rookie contract at quarterback. You can build the team around him.
He doesn't have time. He's old.
Yeah, but are they in any worse of a position with like Trevor Lawrence than Dak?
I don't believe
it's
so.
It's just not going to happen.
Dak Prescott is not that good of a quarterback.
We're having fun here.
I'm not arguing
Why not
that.
shoot down our dreams, all right?
So that's
Dak-
what I mean.
Dak Prescott-
So you're gonna take the upside, Cody, of a Andy Dalton at his prime over a Trevor Lawrence that might be able to get you consecutively to the playoffs and get you maybe into a conference championship game.
Dak Prescott
saying
to
it's
Chicago
not
Pay
or
him
Atlanta.
$45 million a year.
I'm just saying it's not going to happen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's see what else we got here in the mix then, because we could argue that one all day. I think I just like watching the world burn. But we've talked about New York. Let's talk Jacksonville, right? So let's say they've got one of 2 ways they go. Either they stay in that 2 and somebody moves up and takes Lawrence 1, then what do? Or do they try and trade up to get to the 1-2? Like, is Lawrence that much better than the field here if you're the Jaguars to try and move up 1 space if this is how it ends? And Cody, I'll start with you.
The Jets are taking Trevor Lawrence. I don't understand why we're having this conversation. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just not
we
happening.
know.
Like,
We're talking. We're trying to talk in like common sense here, not like what the Jets are actually going to do. We know what the Jets are going to do. The Jets are going to make a stupid move.
Hey, there was talk at one point too that everybody discounted that Kyler Murray would go number 1 overall. So
I just think Trevor Lawrence feels so much like Sunshine from Remember the Titans that's right up Jerry Jones's world. Like, he's like, let's build around Sunshine. Like, I just feel it. Like, I don't know why, man. It's just total gut feeling. But again, Jacksonville, let's assume then that Trevor Lawrence is gone at 1 anyway. Okay, regardless of the situation, what would you do at number 2 if you're Jacksonville, Cody?
probably go Justin Fields at that point, just because he's the second best quarterback in this class, and you need a quarterback. You have.
Do you
talent.
try and lie and tell the Bengals that you're going to take Sewell and they need to come take him before you do? Because they're not going to take a quarterback, right? That's the only player on the board that they really want at that point.
You could
You
try.
try that no matter what.
So,
Can I throw some water on the fire here?
you do what you want, man. Let's throw some gas on it. Let's make it big.
Justin, I'm taking Zach Wilson.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. I am not. I haven't broken down the film, but I've never watched a game of Justin Fields where I thought, "Damn, that's an NFL quarterback." Not once. You know
We wanna
why?
talk
'Cause he
about
comes from
Ohio State?
Ohio State.
Yep, we want to talk about Ohio State.
Don't
Give me-
scout
show
the
me-
helmets.
Show me
I'm
film
not
that doesn't look
saying
just like
because
Dwayne
he's Ohio
Haskins.
State, but you watch Zach Wilson and some of the off-platform throws that kid can make. Go back and watch this last game. I think it was on Saturday where he dropped it in a bucket 60 yards down the field. You couldn't have put it on a tee and let the receiver walk out there and grab it as good as he threw it. So, and that's with BYU Cougars out there, not just NFL style.
There ain't no talent out there. Let me tell you what.
Let me throw one out here for you guys. Atlanta is kind of falling apart at this point. They ran up to get Julio before. Do you think they run up the board to go say, hey, look, it's about done here with Matty Ice. I got to try and go get a quarterback here.
It's not though, because he's on their payroll for the next 2 years.
Well, yeah, but ideally, again, you want to be able to then take that next year after you've drafted to let the guy learn and then figure out your freaking offensive line so he doesn't get whacked. And I mean, again, you build these things in pieces. I know it feels like for the last, maybe it is the way of the NFL now, and we're never going to go back to that day where you could give a quarterback time. And if that's the case, sure. But I mean, Arthur Blank feels like he might be old school enough to just say, hey, I've got a chance to get a guy here.
If he does, it's going to be Trey Lance, somebody that's coming from North Dakota State that might need a year, a la Jordan Love, to get a little bit more experience in an NFL style confines. I could see that, especially as we all know the built-in added value of a first rounder. You get that 5th-year option. It really don't make sense if you're not taking a franchise guy in the first round. If you're trying to get him in the second round, you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're not taking him in the first with that 5th-year option, where you have that extra year of control. Because if not, you're basically, if he's a Russell Wilson, you're going to have to franchise tag him after 4 years. Whereas if you take him in the first round, you have that 5th-year option. It's a lower pay cost. Then you can work out the extension year that year, and then you can have him for his 6th, 7th year on a franchise tag.
How many quarterbacks go in the top 10 this year, guys? I'm going to go all the way around the horn, starting with you, Jack.
Sorry, say that again?
How many quarterbacks get taken in the first round this year?
Oh, I think 3 to 4. I kind of want to say 4. I think there's 4 quarterbacks. I mean, you got Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, you got Trey Lance, and you have Trask, like, who's been playing as good, if not better than any of them, like, this year. I mean, that dude's on fire right now down in Florida. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could pick apart, but I think at least I would say 4. I'm going to say 4 because there's a lot of teams that are going to need quarterbacks for the future too.
Right.
I'm 4. That sounds like a good number.
And Roy?
5.
All 5 Jack named, or do you have a dark horse 5th?
The last one, Trask or Mac Jones, because Mac Jones has been balling out.
Has been. I seen a mock. CBS put out a mock, said he went top 5. I was like,
No,
I
that's
don't know about that, there, buddy.
Mac Jones, to me, it reminds a lot of with the media talk of a Mason Rudolph, where they were trying to put him in the first round. So he could be one of them guys that elevates himself in the draft process to maybe sneak in there for the situation I was just kind of talking about there. That 5th-year option, you got a little bit more control with him. But Trask, I've been really intrigued with going through the last couple weeks worth of film. But Zach Wilson's my boy right now. That's what I'm gonna put my hat on if he declares this year is Zach Wilson. He's the real deal in my opinion.
Lots of stuff to look at and think at between now and the draft. Of course, that top 10 is going to change at least a handful more times. So, except for the Jets, they're going to be there. That's guaranteed to me. So, let's move on into the 4th quarter, where we again will continue to cover this until you have bought the book, and if you've already bought one, buy a second one. But the Blitzalytics Prospect Encyclopedia, as you see them bandied about the screen there. We're going to discuss the offensive and defensive players of the week. Look at that. You see the Blitz breakdown right there advertised. Let's talk about the offensive players first. And Cody, I feel like we haven't had a lot of time with you on air tonight, man. Let's get you some talking time here. Let's start with you here with your offensive player of the week.
So yeah, I'm going with my man Antonio Gibson, who had a nice solid week for Washington. He had 16 rushes, 94 yards, averaged 5.9 yards per carry. He got a touchdown. He only had 1 reception for 10 yards, but he just continues to impress. He continues to get more snaps as we go throughout the season, and I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving because I think he's going to have a great day on Thursday.
Yeah, I again love the kid. Probably one of the few things going right for that squad on that side of the ball. I'm going to get this in here because I always like to give a shout out when I get a good comment here in the section. Jay pointed out Dak to Denver, and I never really gave that much thought until I saw him put that there. But I could definitely see John Elway making a play for a Dak Prescott should he become available. Jay, nice little Nice little message there. So let's come to you, Roy. We'll pivot from Cousin Jay to you. Who's your offensive player of the week?
This one's low-hanging fruit, and it's not only just for the stats this week. It's what the touchdown he got this week really puts him in the historical type counting here. It's my number one prospect for the Steelers, the Mapletron himself, Chase Claypool. He had 4 catches on 8 targets, only 59 yards, 14.8 yards per catch. But that touchdown puts him in an elite type status here. And it's 10th touchdown in 10 career games. He's the first rookie receiver in the Super Bowl era to be able to do that, fellas. That's rarefied air. He's also only the ever 4th to do it in the entire history of the NFL, with Billy Houghton, who scored 11 in 1952, Billy Groman, 10 in 1960, and also Harlan Hill, who had 10 in 1954. Also, if you're looking at stats, I know somebody I was talking to said, well, what about Randy Moss's rookie season? Yes, he scored 10 touchdowns in the last, I believe it was 7 or 8 games in his rookie year. So he put up a total touchdown amount in that first rookie season of being up there in the same category as Chase Claypool. But Claypool has the 10 total touchdowns in his first 10 games. So that's where it really puts him in that rarefied air, and that's why I had to make sure that I gave him some highlights here.
Dude, Chase Claypool is an absolute monster, quickly becoming one of my favorites, trying to secure some rookie cards as we speak. So always happy to talk about Chase Claypool. Love the Megatron comparisons that are coming out too. So Jack, I come to you for your offensive player, sir.
All right, so I got guys that the stat line or the stat sheet doesn't necessarily paint the whole picture, but when watching the game, I thought they were critical in the win. Jonathan Taylor on the offense side of the ball, I think he had a total of 26 touches for 114 total yards. Ran hard. I mean, they gave him the ball, they fed him the ball. They knew my biggest thing is that something that the Bucs didn't do is that when you know that it takes the run game to win the game, you just keep with it, regardless if it's a 1-yard gain or a 2-yard gain or a 3-yard gain. I mean, he literally wore out that defense to the point where they were exhausted come the fourth quarter. And, I mean, there was a good 1-2 punch between him and Hines. But I really like what I seen from Jonathan Taylor. I think he is going to be that back. I did say he was going to lead the league in rushing yards this year. Didn't happen. We haven't had that surgence. I mean, this last week, I think we really kind of got that surgence between him and Gibson in terms of the rookie running backs really performing. But really, like, all running backs haven't performed. I mean, minus, Derrick Henry and a couple of these other big names. Everybody's kind of fallen off. Nick Chubb got hurt. I mean, all the big names, Christian McCaffrey, Barkley, everybody got hurt. Nobody has been able to predict the running back position. But I thought Taylor ran his ass off this last week.
Yeah, and like Cody's been telling everybody, it's everybody jumped that bandwagon a little bit early and thought he was going to come out swinging, but Cody predicted wait till the second half, maybe even a little bit longer for him to break in. The Mac News kind of sped that up, put pedal to the metal, Cody. But I'm going to ask you, I know you watched this game. Was that the breakout game, or was that just situational? He looked good.
No, he looked good. He was hitting the hole. He was reading his blocks right. And if those stupid refs didn't get freaking flag happy in the fourth quarter on these holds. Now, I'll say that Zach Pascal did tackle the dude, so he probably does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't score, but he had like a 25-yard scamper touchdown. And if he gets that, I would be talking about him right now. But he didn't get the touchdown, and I was like, I don't want to be too biased. And luckily, Jack brought him up so I could talk about him. But no, that was definitely his best overall game. And Jack was right about sticking to the run because they came out of that second half and ran it 6 straight times. And that was mainly with Taylor because he really got going right before the first half when the Colts last had the ball. But yeah, I think he definitely is starting to come into his own. And that was probably the best, even though they were missing Braden Smith in that game and they had a flip-flop between right tackles. That was probably, honestly, the best rushing game from the offensive line as a unit, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Me and you talk about it on the Voyage all the time, man. The Colts can certainly be scary when all cylinders are hitting. So let's just stay with you, Cody, and let's talk about your defensive player of the game, or the week, excuse me.
Yeah, and we're gonna stick with my Colts. It's Julian Blackman. He was a number 10 prospect for me. This past game he had 5 solo tackles, but most importantly he had that forced fumble in overtime to get the Colts the ball and in position to be able to kick that field goal and win it. And man, I've been saying that. I know I brought his name up earlier in the season. Like ever since day one when he filled in when Hooker went down with a season-ending injury. He has completely impressed me from like his first 2 snaps. I was like, he's got it, and he's all over the field. Even if you go back to that Thursday night game against the Titans, he flew up the field and got Derrick Henry in the back for a tackle for a loss. So he's not afraid to hit. He's all over. He's instinctive. I want to say if I remember, I'm saying it right on broadcast or on some type of game review from this past week games. I want to say he leads all of rookies in forced turnovers. So I think he's now with like, you really don't have anybody that's a clear-cut defensive rookie of the year right now. But I think that big and that signature play against the Packers on a game like that might have like helped him make a good push to be defensive rookie of the year, depending on how he, of course, finishes the season.
And Cody, big time ups to your Colts for getting him, because I remember scouting him when he was a cornerback at Utah. When he played cornerback for Utah, the knee injury really did him in. That's the reason why he fell to where he was at, because he transitioned after being a cornerback to that free safety spot to Utah. They were littered with NFL prospects. He got injured late in the process. I believe it was the bowl game or the game before at Utah.
The Pac-12. It was the Pac-12.
Yeah, that's what I knew. It was really late in the process. Yep. It threw him out of all the testing and all that stuff. But when you watched him at cornerback, he was feisty. He went throughout the duration of the route. He loved coming downhill hard there. And then whenever he played safety, that same mentality went with him, and it was just disgusting to see him go out. So you guys got a steal there with Blackman coming out of Utah.
Absolutely, and I agree with Cody. Signature plays like that are what put you in the thick of the conversation for that defensive rookie of the year. So let's just stick with you again, Roy, here, and we'll talk about your name. Obviously, dude, this guy, dude,
yeah,
the growth here.
Yeah, you're starting to see this next generation of pass rushers make their mark here. You see a young guy in the Carolina system here coming out. I got to give a shout out to Jason Feiner. He was standing on this soapbox back at the combine appearance that we had down there 2 years ago. He was the number 1 prospect for Jacob Patterson's Carolina Panthers in the book, Mr. Brian Burns. The dude's bend is ridiculous for his size. He isn't the thickest guy, but he has strength. He's wiry, strong, but he has a litany of pass rushing moves, quick hands, knows how to keep himself clean. He had 5 tackles, 2 solo. He came down with 2 sacks, and he almost came down with a pick 6, which was the most impressive play, I think, in the book. He tipped a pass and almost came down with it, but he also hit the quarterback 4 times. So this dude, and also another guy from the Player Pathway Program, F.A. Obata, who has matched or broke his sack record. I believe F.A. was also in our book as well. He was in the teen part, I think. Was a young guy coming through. Both of them guys coming through are just putting in work. He has 6 sacks right now at this point and through 11 games. He had 7.5 last year with 16 games played, and he's going to crush that easily as long as he stays healthy. He's going to be double digits, if not higher, by the end of the year there down at Carolina. Definitely a building block for Matt Rule's program.
Absolutely love the kid. Just a freak. So, Jack, let's come to you for your defensive player of the week.
All right. Because I focused so much on last night's game, and I'm trying to stay away from just the stat line and focus on the eye test with some of these players. Kind of give credit to some of his unsung heroes who may not hit the stat sheet. Darius Williams, the cornerback for the Rams, played outstanding. He had quite a few pass breakups. Had a pass interference, was a questionable against Antonio Brown. Played against Antonio Brown very, very well. He's extremely sticky in coverage, but I do want to give credit to your Rams, man. I mean, I'm looking through my list of the top 22 prospects, and I swear I'm pretty sure that they have more people on the prospect encyclopedia playing starting and or making plays than any other team in the league. So like your team has all these young guys from the last three draft classes that literally are either being forced to start or starting or have filled a role perfectly. I mean, I could have talked about Terrell Lewis. I could have talked about, Bobby Evans. I could have talked about Joseph Noteboom, being able to kind of, hold our defensive line in check. I mean,
not to mention, I think you had them 2 and 4 respectively, but Akers and Jefferson both got in the end zone the first time this week too.
Yeah, I had Van Jefferson at 4. I had Akers at 2. I had David Edwards at 3. Rapp at 1. Obviously, he's been out hurt. But, you go down the list, Austin Corbett, Brian Allen, Terrell Lewis, Bobby Evans, Terrell Burgess, David Long, Micah Kaiser. Micah Kaiser is somebody who we were high on coming out of Virginia, years ago, and hasn't even he really realistically hadn't even hit the field until this year. And the fact that they were like willing to rely on him to that extent, like I just kind of have to give full credit to the Rams and have to admit that I think out of the 5 teams I wrote about, this team was the most impressive from roster top to bottom in terms of drafting and bringing in these young guys and these young pieces of talent. I mean, Kenny Young is a starter as well. So I get all the way down to number 14. I had Darrell Henderson at 15, but I had Darius Williams at 14. Extremely sticky, and this is what I wrote about it. Williams played very well in coverage in the final 3 weeks of the season, posting 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. Sticky in man coverage with fluid transitional movement and to mirror routes. He plays physical around the line of scrimmage with a look small, play big mentality. He's a limited contributor as a run defender and lacks a willingness to come downhill to make a tackle in the box. Williams is great depth piece in the secondary and a solid special teams contributor as well, and has a serious serious contender for a sub package role in 2020. He went from playing just strictly nickel to having to play on the outside as well. They've moved around all over the field this year. Played outstanding, extremely impressive with him this last game. And without him, covering AB, especially on those third downs, as sticky as he was, you guys might have not have got the win. So, congrats, sir.
Yeah. And the low-hanging fruit, 199 got 2 on 199.
That was a cool stat.
Jordan Fuller, your number 19 prospect. So that's the depth of this book, fellas, and Blitz Nation out there. He was the number 19 prospect on Jack's list of the Los Angeles Rams. Probably going to be a big contributor going forward. Big time IQ. It even said in his write-up there, I was just reading it, developmental prospect with starter upside and ball hawking ability.
Look, man, Les Snead does not get enough credit because we've been giving away ones like they're candy. We don't care. Look how good that depth is, even considering we just give those ones away. Les Snead does not get the credit he deserves. So we got about 30 seconds here. Anybody that didn't quite make the list, though, that you can think of that jumped off the page to anybody?
Ashton Davis had his breakout performance. He was a top 5 safety for me. I'm not sure where Alexander had him on the Jets list. I want to say he was a top 5 or 6 player on that list.
He was 4. He was number 4. Yeah, I think 4.
Yeah, probably.
Did I do?
I got it. What did you just say?
Oh no, I was trying to think of did I do his report? I was trying to think if I did.
Alexander did. He actually had Ashton Davis as the second rated prospect. He had 12 tackles this week, 8 solo. I know he popped. I think it was Herbert at one point in the game. I still got to rewatch that game, but I just remember hearing his name called a lot.
I got to throw out my guy I highlighted the other week here. Kyle Duggar is still looking quite impressive for New England, even though in the loss. He's going to be a big-time prospect for that defense going forward, a building block here in the linebacking core, because by all accounts, there's rumors going out there that Donta Hightower is going to be retiring after the year.
All right, fellas, that's going to wrap it up for the fourth quarter. Again, you see the book there. These names keep this section just keeps getting easier and easier for us to pick names as these guys get more and more playing time. So, again, awesome work, fellas, in that book, and it shows every week. So let's do this. Let's get into overtime, and just like every week thus far, we're going to have this be a little more fun. a little less football-y. Obviously, we're going to talk about it here, though. Let's talk about best parts of Thanksgiving. And you guys don't get to see my fat ass a lot, but I am fat, and I look forward to this every single year. I'm about to gorge out on tryptophan-laced turkey until I can't hold my head up and fall asleep watching some football. So let's go around the horn and talk about some of the best parts about Thanksgiving. And Jack, I'm going to start with you.
In my family, it's the day drinking. No,
Yes.
realistically, I'm just kidding.
I am not. I am dead ass serious.
That was true, but I mean, stuffing. It's the only year I get it. It's one of my favorite dishes of all time. Stuffing and candy yams are like the best part of
Let me
Thanksgiving.
ask you, Jack, you talking about that the stuffing they made in the 1920s or some stovetop like your boy here? Because I'll spend $1.50 to not be in the kitchen all day.
Oh, dude, I'm down for stovetop. Like,
That's my man.
You know what? I'm all about that cornbread stuffing. I don't know if
Yes.
you guys ever down to
I-
cornbread
Yes.
stuffing.
I gotta tell you guys, you have yet to live. You gotta try my wife's stuffing. She introduced me to something, and this isn't just sucking up, but it's fat kid in me. Okay, she puts sausage in her stuffing.
I'm in.
You put a meat in any type of bread, I'm in. It is a game changer. And then she'll throw some like mushrooms in there. Telling you,
So
son.
technically, Roy is eating a sausage sandwich with a
That is
spoon.
right.
Let's be
In some
honest.
sort of mushy flavor,
Right.
and some gravy. I am
Yeah.
all
Oh
in.
man,
Oh,
Tell
dude,
me,
I'm gonna have to add
That's-
some. I have to add
that's like
some.
Thanksgiving biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, dude, I'm in. You got me on that
Dynamite.
one, Roy. I am in.
Dynamite.
Cody, let's come to you, man.
I'm right there with you. I'm a big stuffing guy. I'm with Jack too. I love my candy yams. The best part about it, yeah, it's not only it's just all the food. You know, whoever you're with, whether it's your family. You know, the last actually couple years because I live down in Florida. My family's up where Rob is in Missouri. You know, I have gone down to Sarasota and spent it with one of my good friends, Eric's family. And that they're so welcoming, and that's what's so cool about the holiday. I think is no matter who you're with, whether it's friends or your family, it's just enjoying the time. I'm with Jack too. If I get a little day drinking, a little I always forget the stuff because I swear I probably only drink it on Thanksgiving. But a little coffee creamer stuff you mix in your coffee, a little Kahlua, you know, and
little Bailey's.
yeah, Bailey's. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, a little Bailey's in there, get a little coffee going, and then, you know, you might take yourself to another level if you get what I'm saying, and then you just get on some food.
Oh man, I love it. Cody like described that's how it's going on Thursday for me, bro. Like for sure. Like I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna cook some cinnamon rolls for the kiddos, and I'm gonna pour me a little something. And me and the wife
and I
are getting
don't-
warm.
By the way, I don't eat. I refuse to eat until like that first.
Oh,
plate.
dude,
Like,
that's why I said I'm making the kids breakfast. My fat chubby
Right.
butt is saving the room.
Oh, no.
Dude,
Alcohol only. I need my stomach rumbling.
bro.
yes.
Like, I
I'm
need
coming
I
back
need
to
be
the table with
starving by
2
the time I
plates.
get to that
That's
first
all I'm
plate.
saying. I got 2 hands, so the Lord wanted me to take 2 plates back to this table.
That is right. They need to stop making plastic plates or anything like that. It just needs to be shaped like a trough. I'm telling you, we need to start this.
Up until
Just a big, giant, elongated, like just trough. That's
My
the
dad-
thing.
Yeah,
My
with
dad
like,
got
with like
to-
a funnel, with like a funnel at the end, so you just kind of like kick it back.
Yep.
3 years ago, my
Like a
dad had
beer
to
bong
stop because he had some
Thanksgiving meal.
health issues. But up until that point, my dad would literally, so we would all have plates, and my dad had the old turkey platter that got turned into a plate when we got the new turkey platter. So Pops was just like rolling in mountains of food, dude. Oh, I loved it, man. Pass that on
Alright,
to
so
me.
so I gotta if we're going like Thanksgiving meals, like I do kind of have to share this story because it hits so home to me. So growing up for Thanksgiving, my family's tradition was to go dirt bike riding, and we go dirt bike riding for like a week and a half, like 10 days. Like Thanksgiving, like in my family and where I grew up in California, like it was called Clear Creek, and you literally like went out to the middle of nowhere, these like mountain desert kind of area, and you got to do whatever you want, blow stuff up, do anything you wanted to do. But my dad's whole thing was like he would cook for like whoever showed up, and at times there would be 5 or 10 of us, and at times there was like 100 people. Like, and so literally my dad would like bring turkeys, and he would be smoking turkeys all day long in the legit middle of nowhere. Like we would be like completely slumming it in our tents and stuff like that. But by the end of the day, by the time you got back from riding, this chef of my father that he is would have like this 5-course meal ready for you, and literally like it looked like a goddamn soup kitchen, because like people would just start lined up,
yeah.
They're like that my dad, and it was a legit tradition, and this is what we did every year, and we literally fed strangers 100 miles, 50, at least probably like 80 miles from like the closest town or anything, like middle of nowhere, and people just slowly learned to meet there, and like that's where we all spent Thanksgiving, with just a bunch of degenerate dirt bike riders, and that's what we did. And that was like, that to me is Thanksgiving. Always has been, always will be. I'll never forever get that memory again. But eating great food in the middle of nowhere, like it doesn't get any better for that.
Right, that's the holidays, right? No matter what it is, your tradition is what makes it great. So, Mama Countryman out there said she gonna cook for all of us. So I'm down, and said that's amazing, Jack. That's awesome.
Hey,
Now,
there's a reason why I'm the shape I'm in.
yeah,
So.
that's me too, and I'm gonna tell y'all about mine. I decided one year
Mama
that
didn't raise no fool. The wifey's an excellent cook out there. So
right, I decided one year
You can
turkey
find me a
wasn't
woman
enough.
like that.
So I went out and I bought like 5 packages of bacon, and I made a lattice sheet of bacon and put it over my turkey as I baked it. It was the most amazing thing, but you could feel your arteries clogging as you ate it. So we don't do that
I'm telling
anymore.
you guys, if we need to do a trip, you need to come to Pennsylvania. There's like 2 cities over from where I live. They have a literal fest called Bacon Fest, and it's anything you can think of. There's candied bacon. There's like bacon on pork, on pulled pork with sausage and an egg on top. Like it's literally like there should be AEDs sitting around everywhere. Like my wife wouldn't even let me go into the bacon eating competition because she was worried I would die. So I'm just saying, if it happens.
Yeah, don't tell my daughter that, dude. She has a like unnatural thing for bacon. So
Have you guys ever had chocolate dipped bacon?
Yes.
I have not.
I don't think I have not.
Oh,
I don't
it's
think
so
I have.
good. What
No,
about
man, I got a
about
wife, Jack. I
bacon-
have a
about
wife,
bacon
Jack.
April
My
Mark?
wife looks at me when I eat stuff like that, like I'm a horrible person. She'd be like, "You don't love your babies," and it's like, you know what? I
Nudge
want
away.
this cheeseburger.
No, bacon. Bacon. That's bacon. It's
Uh,
I
like
know.
family, breathing oxygen, water,
Bacon.
then bacon.
It is its own national food group. So, what else we got? I mean, we're all talking about food, but obviously, this being a crazy year, a lot of people are going to miss out on the family part of this. So, I'm going to give a shout out to any of those, that have to miss out for what you're going through. My heart be with you. It's a sucky time, man, and keep your head up. But obviously, that's a big part of it too, right? The whole family, friends coming together. You start hearing the bell ringers at the Walmart and scrunging for change out of your pocket. So what other than the food? Because like I said, as the fat kids in the room, me and Roy are going to win this one. So we can get outside of food for a little bit if anybody else has any memories. Obviously, we're a football company too. So football, a big staple of Thanksgiving Day.
I think growing up for me in the 90s, like Thanksgiving meant Barry Sanders, baby.
Yes.
That
Oh,
meant
yeah.
that meant watching. You're gonna get some ankles.
Right,
broke.
because that was
Like,
before
every
NFL
time
Network.
Every time I rip the leg off a turkey, I'd be like, Barry Sanders. It's like I did that as a kid. Like I was like, oh, broken ankle, Barry Sanders.
I used to pretend to be the guy who won the turkey leg. John Madden used to give out the leg. Bro, I'd be like, this is me. Thank you for this game. I'm about to smash this turkey leg now. So, yeah, no, dude. But I'm with you. Barry Sanders is a big, big part because that was the only time we got to see him on national TV was Thanksgiving every single year. And you just looked forward to seeing that guy play.
Yeah,
You young
Lions
bucks
aren't the
don't get
same
it.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lions aren't the same anymore, and I understand why people are like, "Why do we always get the Lions every year? They suck." I'm like, listen, I get what you're saying, but like, it's such a tradition to me.
Yep.
Like, I gotta see the Lions, even if they suck.
Oh, yeah.
the first.
I don't care if
It's
they
gotta
get
be the first game.
mollywopped. Like,
Yeah.
it's got to be the Lions.
Yep, 100% agree. Even the Cowboys,
Yep,
Washington
Cowboys
matchup
definitely.
as well every year. Even though it's kind of different this year with a new team name, but
Right, it's no longer Cowboys versus that. It's Cowboys versus the football team, which kind of takes away from the storyline section of it. So it'll be
Unless-
new.
Just to kind of throw it out there, did you guys see the new team president of the Washington football team said that they might just stick with that
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Really?
Uh,
Really?
in what
you can't-
poll? In what poll is that name trending up?
in the article, I believe it was on ESPN, it was saying that the Warriors was one of the other ones that was in consideration, but a lot of the people that were in charge felt that was too closely associated to the other previous name. So we need to get somewhere other than Washington football team. I get we want to get away from the old stigma, but we can do better. We can do better.
Dude,
Washington.
anything is better. They could be the Washington Washingtons. It's better than a Washington football team.
Yeah, like just.
My brother did
drop
make
it.
a good
Just
point.
Be Washington. Just be Washington.
Washington Candy Yams.
Candied yams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Washington.
absolutely.
Blank.
Baconators.
That's it.
My
If I
brother
get a
did.
slice
My
of bacon
Hey.
on the side. Let's do this.
My brother brings
I
up a
don't-
good point about Washington, though, because he's not a football guy, right? He's just the antithesis of what I am in football. So he's like, well, at least now I can keep up a conversation because anyone asks, who's your favorite football team? They're my favorite. Football team is my favorite.
Football
just generalized
I wanna see how
conversation.
people react to saying that. They're like, "Oh, who's your team? Football team?"
Football team. It just makes you sound ignorant. It's the worst name
I'm
in
just gonna
sports.
mess with somebody now and say that. Real
Oh.
quick, though, I did want to throw this out there. My favorite part of Thanksgiving is the fact that that's the last little time you get before your ears get tortured with Christmas music.
See, I'm different. 2020 been
Whoa.
hit different for me. I've been on Christmas music for like 3 weeks now, B. And I'm
Amen.
normally Grinch, but I'm like,
I
nah,
love
2020's Christmas,
music,
B.
too, but I have to wait. I wait till Thanksgiving. I always wait till Thanksgiving, but I love me some Christmas music.
Hey, I'm hearing an idea. Blitz the Christmas album.
me smoking and on the track. Here comes Santa Claus.
I'm burying this
Just
company tomorrow.
like
I'm
gravelly.
burying this company tomorrow. No,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
seeing Hard Rock, Coco,
closing the
and
table. We're
Joe.
closing doors. It's over.
Oh my gosh. So like, I mean, Christmas is right around the corner. When does the tree go up for you guys? Because mine went up 2 days ago.
See, that's cheating. You can't do that.
I've already
I'm
given
sorry,
my
it's gotta be
kids-
after Thanksgiving.
Bro, I've given my kids
celebrating
2
a holiday
presents.
before the holiday before that holiday has even happened.
My kids have already opened 2 presents, bro. I'm ready for Christmas yesterday.
He's
Yeah.
indeed one.
Yeah.
Mr. Bourgeois.
I'll take it.
And
I
it's hard
love
from
Christmas.
10
but I
times.
just
My
don't
family,
feel
to answer Rob's question, my family, it was like kind of a tradition. My mom would break out because we didn't have like a real tree. We had the one where you could like attach the little attachments, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
she would always have me and my brother and sister. We'd do it, and we'd do the tree. It was always the day after. I'm
I
a
don't do
single
no
dude,
real
so
tree.
I don't-
I'm with
so
you, bro.
I ain't going to go buy myself a tree. I'm a single dude now.
Hell
so.
no.
You guys are missing out. See, we go cut our own tree. There's a little like farm not far away. You take the sled. They give you a saw. Santa's there. You get to sit on his lap. He gives you cookies.
No, see, no,
milk.
it's 2020
Wait,
now.
sit on Santa's
Hey,
lap, don't
I'm not going in the snow to get a tree. I'm gonna
Come
buy
on.
it for. It's $40 in a box from Walmart, and I can put it away and use it next year. And my kids ain't never not a nan want to go sit on no Santa lap. I've been to the mall too much here in Springfield to know what's up with the Santa Clauses.
No,
This is
no,
a
no.
bad
See,
choice.
This guy is
Santa
the one
Clauses
that
may
owns
be
the
different in
Santa. This is
Pennsylvania,
the
bro,
guy-
but
Hey,
they're
he has the real
sketchy in
Santa
Missouri.
Claus,
the
alright?
guy that owns the Christmas tree farm. It's like a
Okay.
tradition. His whole
Well,
family works
Santa
there.
Claus is here are sketchy. They're the kind of
I
dudes
get
walk
it.
in the room, tell you to search them for change. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
the dads down there can have this conversation. Us two over here. Yeah, we.
Hey, I will say this. I'm all right, spoiler alert. I was waiting for after Thanksgiving. I was probably going to do it on Friday. I got like Christmas stuff from my mom that gave me because my grandma used to give us ornaments every year. My grandma hand stitched my own like big stocking. I think I'm going to hang up a stocking here and make a little Christmassy outfit. Maybe I have to re-angle my camera for the whole month of December for Cody Talks
telling you.
NFL,
Blitz in
this show and
Christmas.
everything.
Blitz in
We're gonna,
Christmas.
and then we just got to get Jack to paint himself green every week.
I'm in.
Definitely
Rob,
not
make that
happening,
happen.
but-
Rob, make him a cartoon.
I'll just turn up the green hue on Jack's video like real high. He won't be able to do nothing about it.
He made Mama Countryman mad in the comments. You see this? Shut your mouth, Jack.
Shut your mouth. You gotta say it in the rock voice.
Twice
Shut
a
your
week
mouth,
I've heard
Jack.
She yelled at me.
Oh,
Oh, God, I'm in trouble.
Oh,
I'm definitely getting Cole this season.
definitely.
No stuffing for you.
All right. Well, guys, it is the end of the quarter here. It's been a fun episode. So this is where normally I'm going to go around the horn and have everybody say their goodbyes and plug what they need to plug. But we have something special we'd like to plug. So instead of starting with Jack with goodbyes this week, Roy, I'm going to give you the floor because you're going to be a co-star in this new show.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about. Rob's been behind the scenes doing all the scenery work for on OBS, and we're going to be kicking it off here the first week of December. I believe it's December 2nd, the first Wednesday in December there. It is the new scouting podcast for Blitzalytics. Zach Garton is my co-host, and we're going to be joined by different guests throughout the different time, whether it's inside of Blitz, our scouting staff, maybe even some friends of the company itself. Big time things coming there. It's going to be a weekly edition. Can't wait to get started on it. You definitely want to be hitting that subscribe button and get the notifications on because it's all the info you're going to be need going into the draft season here. So first week in December, look at that going forward. Make sure you buy the book. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys that are here. Whether you're somebody listening or the three of these gentlemen with me every week, it's fun to get out and talk some football here. And always love you guys. And as how I always end it, stay humble, be a blessing.
Absolutely, stay humble, be a blessing. And Jack, now we will come to you to allow you to say your goodbyes and to tell me how great my Rams are.
They are quite amazing. Rob. Congratulations on last night's big victory. I'm rooting for your Rams. I'm not hating on you or Zach, which is the owner of Key City Brewing, our sponsor, for being a Rams fan. I'm rooting for you guys. I will take this one on the chin, like a champ that the Bucks will not be. But you never know. Again, peak Bucks. Please go buy the Prospect Encyclopedia. Go check it out on blitzlytics.com/shop. Barnes & Noble, Target, Amazon, anywhere you can buy a book, you can buy the Prospect Encyclopedia. You can at me at Jack Bourgeois, JackBooshwa. And last but not least, Blitzalytics has started an internship program. I know it is extremely hard for a lot of you youngsters who share the exact same passion and love for the game that we do, to be able to move forward with your sports management, sports marketing, sports journalism career, and we would love to help you guys out. We offer a remote internship. It is something that we are doing right now currently with Tampa University. We like to open it up to a majority of anybody who is interested, anybody who is in need of an internship. And with the way the country is being shut down right now, I understand that is extremely difficult. So we'd like to help out anybody that is in our avenue, anybody that's in our industry, anybody that is basically a part of the football family, the sports family that we consider to have, with as many connections. I mean, if you love the same sport as we do, we're going to get along. So, if you're interested in an internship, please reach out to me at jack@blitzlytics.com. And we'll get you to fill out an application and we'll go from there. So I'm really excited for our new internship program. We're gonna be doing this next semester for spring semester. A lot of big things to come for Blitzalytics because of it. So I'm really excited about that, and I will shut up now.
I love it when people are like, and I'm done. All right, sure. Cody, your turn, sir.
And it's because I'm a graduate. It is University of Tampa, the real UT.
Sorry, anyways, you had to go there. Love it.
Yeah, go buy this book. As they said, blitzlytics.com/shop. You'll enjoy tonight's video. Please hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to us. Also, subscribe to our Blitzalytics podcast network so you can get the audio version of any of our shows if you do have to miss one. Me and Rob will be back tomorrow morning for Fantasy Voyage. I think me and Rob are kind of set on that around 10:30 a.m. time. I would say so, right, Rob? It seems like that works out for both of us.
G2G.
So, yeah. So we're going to be back then. I'll be on Friday for Cody Talks NFL. And other than that, just make sure you subscribe. And just like Roy said perfectly, with it being Thanksgiving, I am thankful for everybody that's been supportive of Blitz and, of course, you guys on the show. So see you guys tomorrow morning.
And
Likewise. Love you guys.
I will make this quick. It's looking like I'm looking at a count here. We're up to 893 subscribers on YouTube. Need 107 more. Tell you what, get 107 more subscribers. We'll buy you a Super Bowl ticket. It won't be to this year or next year's or a future one, but maybe a year in the past. Oh,
Yeah, we'll buy an Super Bowl ticket.
oh no, man! I'm just messing with y'all. Tell your friends and family. Let's get up over that 1,000 mark. And again, like I said last week, I'm going to say it every week through the holidays. Remember, it's a tough time for a lot of people, so remember to call, tell your loved ones that you love them, check on everybody. Again, it's a crazy time we're going through mentally, so make sure you're there for your buddies and your loved ones. All right, guys? It's been a pleasure to serve you for this just over, and looks like hour and a half on the Football Happy Hour. We're going to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully we get some damn good Thanksgiving games, because I could use a respite from reality these days. So we are going to look forward to talking to you guys next week. And as always, this has been Football Happy Hour presented by Blitzalytics.com.